17, 18. Is it MCCOY?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What's your date of birth, Troy?
3/26/1985.
85. What's your home address? All right. And that number I called you on, is that a work phone?
Yes, sir.
Do you have a personal phone?
Yeah. I don't remember it since me and my
That's
wife
fine.
changed it.
No problem.
We're from Kansas, so.
Oh, you are?
I had that one memorized.
Where are you from, Kansas?
Elkhart.
Far
southwest corner.
Okay.
My number.
All right. How recent is that?
This number?
Yeah.
I mean, I think we've had it for 8 months or so.
Oh, for a while.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just can't remember. I can't remember my work phone number.
Yeah, no problem.
I have to have it written down in my pickup so I can get it to people that call me.
Right. So, okay, so let's cover some timeline stuff here.
Yes, sir.
So let's start with on Sunday. So Sunday would be the 12th.
Yes.
Did you talk to
No,
Chris
sir.
at all on the 12th?
I didn't speak to him over the weekend. I seen him on Friday.
Seen him on Friday. So that was the last time you saw him before the
Monday.
work week.
Yes.
Okay.
I seen him on Friday, and he'd taken off Friday to take shan'ann to the airport for Phoenix.
Okay.
And then he told me he wanted me to look at his Fire Stick that he bought. I said, okay. So
like TV Fire Stick?
Yeah,
okay.
Amazon Fire Stick.
Sure.
So before the workday ended on Friday, he's told me that he'd meet me at the Safeway parking lot there in Fort Lupton. And he showed up in their Lexus, and Bella and CC were in the back seat. So he jumped out, gave me the Fire Stick, and right after he gave me the Fire Stick, that's whenever Cody called. Cody Roberts, the operator of the Service 319, and said that he thought there was a leak in the bypass line.
And that's on 319, you said?
Yes, the Service 319.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Because that bypass line is now locked and tagged out because we done that Monday morning.
Okay. Oh, that's okay, so Bella
and CC, or
CC.
Yeah.
CC were in the back seat.
Yes, sir.
And was shan'ann?
No, sir.
Was
she
she in the front
taken her to the airport.
You already took her there?
Yes.
Do you remember what time this was?
I'm looking back through my text messages I gave you because he told me he was sitting by the 5.0. There was an orange Mustang sitting in the parking lot.
Okay.
I think it was one of the ladies that it looked just like the one I used to have.
Yeah.
Because I had it red when I was telling you about that earlier.
Yeah.
So, and he's a huge Ford guy because he was a master mechanic.
Yeah, I remember you said something about that.
Sorry.
No problem.
Chris Watts. Okay, thanks. Forward your link. You just sent it there. Okay, right here. It's at 3:05.
Okay.
Is whenever he sent me the text message. Here, parked next to the orange 5.0.
Okay.
So.
And he's driving the white Lexus?
Yes, sir. And Bill and CC were both in the back. They were buckled up in their car seat. And he had pulled forward in the parking spot, and I pulled back here. And he was talking to me for, I don't know, like 3 or 4 minutes, and you could hear him hollering in there. So he got back in the Lexus, and he backed it up so they could see me. And they waved at me and everything like that.
Okay. All right. And so you have no text conversation, no phone conversation, nothing like that over the weekend, Saturday and Sunday?
No, sir. Nothing.
Okay. So Monday morning.
Okay.
What time do you leave to go to work?
I usually leave my house about 6 o'clock.
Okay.
Is that supposed to be here about 6:30?
Here at the office?
Yes.
So did you come straight to the office
Yes, sir, I did.
On Monday morning?
Yeah.
So 8:13.
Yeah, and I received a phone call from him Monday morning, but I couldn't answer it while I was driving. So you can see in here, it's phone call declined.
Okay. What do you have the time
yes,
on
sir,
that
I'll
one?
Get the timestamp for you. That's what I'm looking for. Oh, that's Friday. Monday. Chris Watts, right here. He called me.
Does it say what time?
See, and call canceled because I was driving because I can't accept that.
Yeah.
And that's 6:43 a.m.
So you so incoming from Chris.
At 6:43. I drink water all the time. I had a partial put in about 1.5 years ago, And my goodness, man, you get freaking dry mouth from that
Really?
ambulance thing.
Okay, so inclement, but you declined it because it's on
Yes,
your
sir,
work phone and it tracks all that.
Well, my work phone is set up through my Bluetooth in my phone, or my truck.
Okay.
And with that geo tab, it can tell when
It's gonna
you take a
tell.
call
Okay.
whenever you're driving.
And you're gonna get busted for that,
Yeah,
is that right?
you would
Okay.
get slapped.
Okay,
Yeah, because that came down from Keith Nosich, and he's pretty high up in the company.
All right.
He said that we can't use them anymore.
okay.
So,
That's when you're driving out to the site,
no, sir, that's when I was driving to work,
driving to work.
6:43.
So apparently you'd gotten to work a little bit after
Yeah,
6:45.
I would have been running behind that day then.
Okay. Do you remember about what time you got here?
No, I don't.
Okay.
Can we check you guys can run my geo tab, if that helps, whatever you guys need.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, no problem. Might need that.
Yeah.
No, but.
That's the important stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
Sorry, guys.
That's all right, thanks.
Okay.
All right, so you come in the office between 6:45 and 7, would that be fair?
Yeah, that would be fair.
Okay.
Because I always try to hit up the burrito guy that comes at 7:30.
Okay.
Gabriel.
So did you get a burrito that morning?
Yes, sir, I did.
Okay. And he's here by 7:30?
Yes. He's usually here about 7:30 and just a little bit after.
Okay. So when you come to the office, what's your routine?
When I come to the office, I always park on the north side of the parking lot down here, where my truck is now. And I walk through those doors, I come directly in the doors, and then I go into the break room. Because that break room to the south, or the north end of the office is where all of our guys sit.
Okay.
The whole team's there, usually. And then Luke's office is right down the way, so I just always park on the north end.
Okay. So you come in, do you get like your assignments for the day to check on?
Well, I come
when you
in,
go
I pull
check?
up my computer,
Okay.
my work laptop, I can check Signet, whatever, the case is. Usually since I'm a lead, or field coordinator, I go in and I talk with Luke and, or talk with Chad, because Chad's also a field coordinator.
That's Chad McNeil.
Yes, sir.
So when you come in and check with those guys, what do you establish your route for the day or your routine for the day?
We discuss the topics for the day. I mean,
Okay.
whatever a gentleman needs. I sent out an email last week on Friday night telling them that we need to start checking plungers in our wells because they're supposed to be checked quarterly, would be what Anadarko is supposed to require. So a lot of our new guys do not feel comfortable with that procedure. So, I just talked to them, see if they need help anywhere, what was going on for that day. And Chad told me that we were going to start the Survey 1029, which is a pumping unit.
Mm-hmm.
So he'd like to have me out there that day. And we was going to test that back pressure line on the 319 to verify that there was a leak.
On 319, check what?
Verify if there was a leak on the back pressure line.
On the back pressure?
Yes, the same one that Cody called me about on Friday, sir. I told you I spoke to Cody whenever I talked to Chris.
Yeah, okay. That's what you mentioned, the stain on the ground, is
Yes,
that
sir.
correct?
Yeah, the stain on the ground.
Yep. Okay, so there was a problem with the 319.
Okay.
Having a leak, is that correct?
Yes, there
Okay.
was.
Okay.
Yeah, in the bypass line, we were able to verify that.
So the back pressure in the bypass line?
Well, I think they're one and the same. I don't know which one it is. It's the one that goes up on the top fill of the tank. Verify, because that survey's set up kind of weird because it's all older stuff.
Mm.
But we have logged and tagged there. It's the first line as you're walking to the stairs. Right over on your right-hand side is that first line because that's where the staining was, and it's at the elbow underneath the ground is where I think the thread's washed out.
Okay.
So there was oil bubbling up from there, and that's what caused the stain.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, what time do you leave here on Monday? Approximate.
Approximately, burrito guy comes at 7:30. Might have talked to the guys for like another 10 minutes, so probably 7:40. I was on the road.
Okay.
Ish.
So we call it 7:45 on the road?
Yeah, I would say so, sir.
Okay. So do you remember that day where you headed first?
My first location was going to be to head out to Survey.
So, well, okay.
The
Do
Survey
you remember
319.
the 319 or the 1029?
No, it was a 319 because they were testing that bypass line because I had the call from Chris here. Let me verify. That was at 6:43 when I told you about it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I talked to Chad McNeil. And then after that, I talked to Chris again at 7:40 a.m. incoming call because I just left the office.
So 7:40 a.m. You got was it another call from Chris?
Yeah, it was another call from Chris. So by
Okay.
7:40, whenever I pulled over to take this phone call, I believe I was at the intersection of Old County Road 37 and I think it's 18 right there where the Hell Got Theirs is.
So 37 and 18.
Yes. I had to pull over to the side of the road and park right because they're building a new construction there.
Okay.
The Gracie horizontals are going in, so the Hell Got Theirs is the old location that held that lease. So I just pulled off the road right there to be able to take the call.
How far is that from here?
How far is that from the office?
Yeah. I'm sorry. How far? Where you took that call? How far is that from here?
From the 319?
No, from here.
From the office?
From the office, yeah.
Okay. I don't know, you just go right down to 22, you turn on 22, so I'd say about maybe 10 minutes. So maybe I left right after the burrito.
Okay.
So, I mean, we can pull up my geotab, guys. That way I'm not, you know, over the timeline.
So what do you and Chris talk about?
What's going on the field? Because he told me he was at the Survey 319, and then he was going to test the bypass line. I said, okay, I'll be out there in just a minute to be able to help you. But, I mean, of course, I'm at County Road 52 and 37. So that's going to take me a while to get out to Survey.
How long would it take you to get to Survey 319 from where you stopped to take this phone call?
From where I stopped to take the phone call, we got to get back on County Road 52, head all the way to Hudson, then we jump on I-76, just like Luke took you guys out to Survey. So probably about another 40 minutes to be able to get there with drive time.
Okay.
So that's why I was telling you the other day, I thought I arrived on location about 8:30
Okay.
to 9,
So
somewhere in that ballpark.
So if you got that phone call at 7:40, how long did you guys talk? Do you remember?
Yeah, it was
Does
2
it say?
minutes.
2 minutes? Okay.
Yes, sir. Yeah, because he asked me where I was at, and I told him I pulled over to take his phone call at the Hell Got Theirs, and then he told me he was at the Survey 319, and I said I'll be out there in a minute because Chad was going to have you come out to that 1029 anyway.
Okay.
So I told him I'd head to that 319.
Okay. Was Chris scheduled to go to 319 that morning?
He told me on Friday, whenever we spoke with Cody, because he was right there, because I took the call on Bluetooth because I was parked in the parking lot.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever he found out about the leak, he said, I'll go out and look at that thing first thing Monday morning.
Chris said he was going to go out first thing Monday morning.
First thing Monday morning.
And take a look at the 319.
Yes, sir. To try to verify that, whether or not that line was leaking or not. And I believe he called Cody, when I talked to Cody, he called Cody on Friday or Sunday at 5 p.m. and told him that he was going to head out to Survey first thing Monday morning.
Okay, so the fact that he was there already and calling you about the 319 was no surprise.
No, he was just, telling me that, yeah, he was out on location and everything. I said, okay, I'll be out there in a little bit. That was it.
Right. And so it took you approximately 40 minutes to drive out there.
Yeah,
so now we're probably, what, 8:40, 8:30, somewhere in that range?
8:30, 8:40.
Okay. So when you get out there, who's out there when you get there?
When I arrive on location, Chris is parked by the wellheads.
Okay.
Or the one wellhead of that location.
Yep.
Then we have Chad McNeil.
When you say he's parked by the wellhead, where is he?
Okay.
Here,
you guys have a picture of location?
Actually, I do.
Yeah.
Okay, and I can show you exactly where his truck was parked, because his truck was parked where the headlights were facing toward the wellhead. Okay, his truck was parked right here.
Here,
And his headlights,
draw his car on there for me.
You want me to try to draw a car?
That is just a box.
Okay, a box. I'm like, I didn't know I was going to be testing all my drawing
Yeah, right.
skills.
So which way is he facing?
The headlights of the pickup are facing toward the wellhead.
Okay, so let's see. So if I do this and say that his truck is pointed that way.
Yeah, well, more of an angle where it's pointed directly at the wellhead.
Okay.
So yeah, that's exactly. It was pointed. His headlights were pointed directly at the wellhead.
Okay. All right. And who else is there?
Melissa Parrish and Chad McNeil.
And where are they?
They are parked right here on location, sir.
Just on the other side of the
Yes,
wellhead there?
trucks facing.
Kind of where we're parked here?
Yeah, their trucks were facing toward the exit. Like
Okay.
they pulled in and kind of circled and parked right here. And I parked right over here.
Okay.
Are those typical spots to park?
Yeah, I mean, I was just pulling up so we're not in any way, because we're supposed to pull up where you don't have to back or anything like that. So I usually try to pull around or pull back far enough where I know that if there's a truck parked over here, I can pull around and get away, so I don't have to
Okay.
have anybody move their vehicles or back up, because if they back up, then that sends a designation.
Okay. Was that a usual place for somebody to park where Chris parked?
Now that I think about it, it is unusual.
Why do you say that?
Well, if you're gonna test the bypass line, to me, it would make
Where is
more
that
sense.
bypass line?
Okay, the bypass line is coming off your separator, or I thought that, if I'm not mistaken, sir, I think the bypass line and the back pressure line are tied in, one and the same.
Okay.
And the back pressure line comes off from the front of the doghouse on the separator. And then the back pressure line is back here by the flow line, where it comes in at the header of the separator, where the gas and the oil enter the separator.
Okay.
And those lines run directly underneath and then come right back over here to the edge of the tank, where both of those lines come up and on top of the tank.
And that leak was in here, correct?
Yes, sir. It
Okay.
was right there by the stairs, right as you go up the catwalk. So to me, I'm lazy. If I pull up on location, I would pull up over in here somewhere. I would have took this circle right here and stopped right here in order to be closer to the separator and everything to be able to test that bypass line.
Okay. So by him parking here, he kind of blocks this access?
Nobody could circle around the wellhead.
Okay. Is it normal for somebody to park in that fashion?
No. Well, I mean, now that I think what's all's happened, no. But I mean, at first, it didn't even flag anything for me. But that's where his truck was parked.
Okay.
So I mean, to me, no. If you're going to go out there and test the bypass line and that's all you had to do, then I would have parked over here to be able to be closer to this and this.
Okay. Plus, I'd imagine you have to get some tools out of your truck.
Yeah, crescent wrench, whatever
Do whatever.
you do to be able to pressure up the vessel.
Okay.
What tools did he have out?
Whenever I got there, everybody carries a crescent wrench in their back pocket. Whenever I arrived on location, he used his shovel to dig out the hole right there at the bypass line.
Mm-hmm.
And then whenever I got there, they'd already verified that the bypass line or back pressure line, whichever one that is, failed, and that it was leaking underneath ground, because you could see like a little bitty puddle right there. And Chad McNeil, when he got his lockout tag out, he put it on the bypass line, and I think they did the bypass line at the separator to make sure it was locked out in both directions, so pressure couldn't get in there and feed any more up, so we wouldn't have any further contamination. And then after that, Chad and Melissa, they pulled away since I parked over here with Chris, and Chris had went back to his truck to check his phone. So I grabbed his shovel from right here and I walked it back over to his pickup and handed it to him. And he said, no, there's still, since that stain's still there and the dirt's already stained, we're going to put that back in there. So then he filled back in the hole, and then he came back over to the pickup. And then after that, he left first because I told him I grabbed the gate. So he got out of here, went through, and then I followed behind him and I closed the gate behind me.
Okay. So when you get there,
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry, let me back up.
Yeah, whatever you need.
So you get there, Chris is parked here.
Yes, sir.
And say who else was there already?
Chad McNeil,
Chad.
already on location, and
Okay, so
Melissa Parrish. They were already there
Chad
before me.
and Melissa are both on scene. As
Because Cody Roberts was over at the 1029. Cody was already out of survey, but he was at the 1029 because they was going to start that pumping unit.
He said he was already out in survey, just like generic ranch, or at this site.
Well, no, not at this site. Survey Ranch is, the way we speak upon it, is consistent of those 7 sites at Survey. And the 1029, if you enter the gate from the south, which I'm sure you guys did when you went out there, because that's the only entrance that they are supposed to allow us to go through. As you go up, instead of curving back to go to the 319, you continue to go straight. There's like a little riverbed right there that you cross over and go back into, and that's where the pumping unit is.
okay. All right, so you get on scene. Chad and Melissa are already there.
Yes, sir.
And Chris.
Yes.
Anybody else?
No.
Okay. Do you see what Chad and Melissa are doing
They were just over there by the bypass line.
over here?
Yes.
Over here.
Yeah, over there by the bypass line.
Okay. Were all three of them over here?
Confirming that. Yes. Whenever I pulled up on location, all 3 of them were over there.
Okay. Anything seem unusual?
No.
Just out of the ordinary?
No. Well, as soon as I pulled up, and I talked to Chad McNeil about this because he remembered me making a comment that I didn't even remember. As soon as I walked out on location, I got out of my truck, and Chris is usually fairly decently dressed man. He's always got on pretty tight fitting FRs, like really, like he wears area out pants.
What's FR?
Fire resistant.
resistant clothing. He usually wears that. He was wearing a blue shirt that was baggy, looked like he'd had like an older shirt for him.
So it wasn't a fire resistant shirt?
It was.
It was?
It
Okay.
was a fire resistant shirt, but different companies make different styles of t-shirts, and this is not something that, I was used to seeing him in. It was kind of a baggy t-shirt,
Okay.
and then he had a pair of pull-on boots. And from every time that I can remember out in the field, he had an old pair of boots that he was lace-ups that the toe was about to come off of, and then here about 3 weeks ago, he bought a brand new pair of Red Wing boots down at the FR store here in Platteville, and he always wore those. So when I seen him, on those, I was like, "What, you slumming it today, bud?" And he laughed, and that was it. That was all it was. But I didn't notice that it was, out of the ordinary. I just figured, okay, well, if he didn't get a lot of sleep last night, and he was in a rush, he just grabbed what he had and went out to location.
Okay.
But I think it was a pair of Red Wing pull-up boots, because I think the only style of boots he wears is Red Wing.
Okay.
What color was the shirt?
It was blue, a very dark blue, like a navy blue.
Okay. And that shirt was different than the shirts that he usually wore.
Yes, well, usually he wears I believe it's Ariat that makes most of ours that come from down there. They're a little bit better looking.
What's the company name again?
Ariat.
How do you spell that?
I have no idea.
Is that the shirt you were wearing when we first spoke to you? Okay.
Yeah, those style of t-shirts.
Okay.
Is
So
what
that's the more form-fitting shirt?
Yeah.
Okay.
They fit a little bit closer and stuff like that. But this other shirt he had, because like you guys had said the last time, he's lost a lot of weight here in like the last 6 months to a year. So I think it was one of his old shirts that he had, in his closet. Because I even have some old shirts like that. They're baggy as heck.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. So he's wearing his old boots.
I would say they're
older.
I would say they're older because they're not his new ones. And I've only seen him that I've noticed wear lace-ups. And these were slip-ons.
Slip-ons.
Yes.
Okay.
Because the reason what drew my attention to him is it drives me nuts if anybody tucks their boots or their pants inside their boots and the boot deal's showing. That drives me insane. So he had it like half tucked. It was weird because one side was down and the other side was tucked into his boot.
Okay.
So it instantly drew my attention.
And that's unusual for him. Is he
yeah.
generally,
He's
when you
generally
see him, okay,
pretty
let me see if I can make this one make sense. So generally when you see him in a work setting,
Yes.
he's at least dressed, he's put together.
Yes,
I guess,
he's
would that
dressed
be a way to,
appropriate, yes.
okay. And
I mean,
not sloppily.
No, he looks like, a field coordinator looks.
Okay.
Because, the higher up you go and everything like that, people pay more and more attention to your dress.
Sure.
So I always try to come to work looking as nice as I possibly can. I've only got what God gave me. So, but, he was always nicely dressed.
Okay.
And that was just kind of threw me off, so I gave him shit about it. I just made that comment. I'm slumming it today, and that was it. I mean, that's as far as it went. Chad laughed, Melissa laughed. That was all.
What about his pants? What kind of pants was he wearing?
I believe those would have been, I think the manufacturer on those particular style pants is Bulwark.
Okay.
And he usually wears Ariat because they were a baggier pant than what I'm used to seeing him in.
Did you notice anything, besides the bagginess, anything else about his clothing?
No. I mean, that was it. I knew he was wearing it had to have been an older shirt back from whenever, he was bigger, and then the pants and the boots.
Did you notice if his shirt was dirtier than normal?
No, he looked clean.
Pants dirtier than normal?
No,
Like that?
everything looked clean. There was no stains on his pants. There was no stains on his shirt.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Did he seem out of sorts? Was he tired, sweaty?
No,
acting different, more quiet than usual? I know you said he's a quiet guy.
He's kind of a quiet guy, but that particular day, I try to joke around because I joke around with everybody. That's just the guy that I am in the group, and he would kind of joke around a little bit and stuff like that, but that was it. He was quiet. Some days Chris is pretty talkative. You can have an interaction with him, and then other days he's more reserved and he really doesn't engage with you whenever you do that. Because we joke about things. We both watched a lot of the same movies, and stuff like that. So we say stupid movie lines, and he just wasn't replying like he normally would. But I didn't think it was out of sorts at the time because of the fact that, okay, well maybe he woke up late. He's tired. I don't know.
Okay. So you guys show up there. You mess with the back pressure line. do you get it fixed at that point, or?
We
is
did
it-
not get it fixed, sir.
Okay,
That line is still currently, as far as I know, locked out, tagged out.
okay. So how long are you guys on scene to try to fix that?
Well, since they'd already diagnosed the problem, we wasn't there in a very short period, like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, I'm guessing,
Okay,
that I was there.
okay.
Because
So,
they had already been there before me and diagnosed that it was leaking.
so once it's diagnosed that it's leaking, you guys figure out that you can't fix it right at the moment.
Right.
You guys move on?
Yeah, well, we have to move on. As long as it's locked and tagged out and that line wasn't going to interfere, they wanted us to open up that top field because that location is a Thames location, which is, the Thames is what helps with emissions, so we don't emit any gas out of the top of the
Sure.
deep hatch or anything. So they wanted that line open, and that's the only reason why it was open, because Cody didn't even open that line until last week. So we went ahead and closed it, locked and tagged it out. The well was still able to run because it's almost, it was almost a load out there. I think Cody said it had about 9 foot in it, makes about 2 inches a day. He said by Thursday or Friday that tank should be ready to haul. So that's what we did. We left it running.
Okay. So, and just so I'm clear, everybody left when you guys left?
Yeah, they
Okay.
left, and then.
And did you guys return to the 319 at all?
No, sir.
That day?
I didn't return to the 319 that day. I went back over to the 1029.
Okay.
The 1029 pumping unit is where we were.
Everybody?
Yeah, well, Melissa, Cody was over there because Cody was already at the 1019 prior.
Okay.
And then Chris pulled
I'm
up,
sorry, is
and
it
I pulled up behind him.
1019 or 1029?
1029.
Okay.
1029.
I'll make sure we're talking about the right one.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
That's right.
319s to 1029s.
Yes, I know.
1129s,
Yeah, there's so
Okay.
many different well names, man.
Yeah. Okay, so let me do that one again. So
Yes.
everybody left,
Yes.
and then everybody went over to the 1029.
Yes, sir.
Is that
the
correct?
1029.
Okay.
But
Along
him
with
and I were
Cody.
the last ones on the 319 location.
Okay.
Because I was standing over by that valve that we locked and tagged out, and Chris was over by his pickup. Melissa and Chad got in their trucks, and they drove off and said, "We'll see you guys at the 1029." I said, "Okay." So I grabbed his shovel, walked it over to his pickup, and he said, "No, there's still staining on that ground, so we need to cover that up." So he covered it up. We got in the truck. I told him I'd close the gate. He left, and then I left.
What's the point of covering it up? Just
Covering
I'm
up
curious.
well, if a state inspector comes out and they find like a puddle of oil right there, then that would be a fine instantly.
Okay.
But if there's this staining on the ground, then you have a chance to investigate what happened. So we're still going to get the line fixed, but until the line was fixed, they wanted the line covered up.
Gotcha. Just curious.
No, that's fine.
All right. So you guys leave, go to the 1029.
Yes, sir.
And you guys stay there for the rest of the day?
I was there for almost the rest of the day. I didn't leave until around 2 o'clock.
Okay. What about Chris?
Chris, I'm thinking it's about 11 o'clock to noon is whenever, because he kept getting phone calls from a lady that was at the house, ringing the doorbell and everything like that, and couldn't get a hold of Shan'ann. Because she tried to call her, I guess, several times that morning and said that she'd missed the doctor's appointment or whatever that she had.
Okay.
So he was worried. He told me that he was getting worried about it because nobody could reach her. So about 11 o'clock or so, he told us he was going home. But when Chad and McNeil and I talked, I mean, I don't know if this would be anything that you guys could look into further for any kind of evidence or anything, but he told us that he had to use the restroom on the 1029. So he told me it was number 2. So he told us, well, it says, let's go over there by that tank, it's 1029. So he backed his truck into the sunflowers at the 1029 and used the restroom.
Okay.
I mean, that's not out of the norm for us because we don't have porta potties out there, but I mean, that is something that he did do on that location.
When did you and Chad kind of discuss things?
Well, I spoke with him again today.
Okay.
He's like, you want to make sure that you bring that up to those gentlemen in case it can't help anything.
Right.
Because I talked to Chad and I talked to Luke and told him that I was going to be coming in today.
Okay.
Because, I mean, Chad's the other field coordinator, so I was keeping in the loop with him, and I called him because Luke didn't answer the first time. So I just wanted to call Luke to let him know that I was coming into the office today to do an interview with John.
Okay.
Okay. Can we back up to the 319 for a second?
Yeah, go ahead.
When he was he looking around, just get kind of the surroundings at all? Did you
Well,
notice?
okay. Whenever we got ready to get back in our pickups and leave, he was messing on the phone, like texting or whatever. I don't know if he was texting the lady that was at the house or whatever the case may be. It didn't seem odd to me at the time because I thought he was walking toward the back of his pickup, and before we leave location, we're supposed to do a circle check, a 360 circle check. That means you walk all the way around your pickup to verify that there's nothing in your way so you don't hit it. So whenever I seen him walking, he walked just right past his truck, just a little bit, not very far, and looked out in the field like that, and then he walked right back, and that was it.
Did he do a full check, or did he look at a specific point?
No, he didn't look at any specific point. It was like his eyes were just kind of up in the, like looking toward the sky.
Okay.
He just had his head up and just kind of looked around like that, and then turned around and walked right back.
So was he looking out into the field, or was he looking back over the
looking
pad
out into the field.
to the south?
Yeah, that would be. I guess that would be the south. I get confused when I'm not
Yeah,
there.
basically
Okay.
towards 76.
So
All right,
south
he's
is
parked
that
right
way.
here. Yeah, he walked right past his pickup, just a little ways, not like super far, but just right past his pickup because I thought he was doing a circle check. And then he looked out, just looked across the field real quick, and then he walked right back to his truck and got in.
So was he off the pad out here in the weeds?
Yeah, well, yeah, because way he parked his truck with his tailgate,
Mhm.
his tailgate was right kind of by the weeds.
Right back here.
Yeah, right back here.
Okay. And he's looking off in this direction. Is that?
Yeah, he was looking off in the, well, yeah, because he walked right past here, and he was looking back in here. I mean, it was just brief.
Mhm.
It wasn't like he was staring or nothing like that. He just walked back there, kind of glanced around, and then walked right back to his pickup.
Okay. But if you're doing a safety check, you should be looking
Yeah, if
here,
you're doing a
not
circle check,
here.
you should be walking right next to your pickup. You check your wheel wells and everything
Yeah.
to verify that there's nothing there or anything behind you when you go to back up, you know, that you're going to hit, because we have a lot of operators hit fixed objects.
I'm sure.
So, yeah,
I would be one.
it's a big deal.
I'm
So,
sure it is. Yeah.
Yeah. Is there anything out here that would be of interest at all?
no, because I mean, the well pad for this site is just right here.
Okay.
This is just fenced off right out in here, because there is a fence around this whole
Mhm.
entire location, and then the gate right there, and we're supposed to keep the gate closed because the landowner or the gentleman that rents the ground doesn't want his cattle inside this, you know, 'cause
Right.
it doesn't hit any valves or
Oh,
anything
yeah.
like that. So that's all there is right here, because the wellhead's here, your separator's here, your tank's here. That's the only thing that we mess with right there.
Okay. Fair enough. And then when you got to the site, I think you said he had a shovel and he was already digging.
Well, no, the shovel was already, whenever I got to the 319, they'd already dug it up.
Okay.
His shovel was standing right next to the freaking catwalk. So whenever I walked up, his shovel was right up here.
Okay.
And the hole had already been dug.
How big
Right
of a
there.
hole?
That big around.
How deep?
8 inches.
Okay.
Maybe 8, 9 inches. Because I don't think the lines are very deep underneath that berm. And then before they elbow and then come up, right there by the tanks. So you could see a little puddle right there of oil about that big around, and that's it.
Okay. Did Chad or Melissa have shovels out too?
No, not that I know of, because I think Chris had already done that. Because
Okay.
that was the only shovel that I seen that was out of the pickup on location.
Okay. Did Melissa or Chad have any other tools out?
No, everybody just carries their crescent wrench.
Okay.
So that's our thing. As soon as we get out of the truck as operators, 90% of our job will focus on a 12-inch crescent wrench.
Okay.
So I always carry that in my back pocket even when I hop out, because you know we use them to change or turn the wing valves on the wellhead, the inlet valves, the separator, the dump valves, everything. We use the 12-inch for everything.
Okay.
So if you jump out of your truck without the crescent wrench, it's kind of like you're useless.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I always give everybody, all the new guys, heck, whenever they jump out, I was like, you haven't been operating very long, have you? Because you forgot your crescent wrench. I was like, shit. So they'll go back and get it out of their pickup.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, fair enough.
All right. And then, so Chris is getting phone calls and texts. Can't find Shan'ann.
Right.
And he says he's worried about her. And then he leaves at some point. Do you remember about when that was?
I would say between 11 and 12.
Okay.
Somewhere in that time frame window. I don't remember exactly. I know I wear a watch, but, you know, I didn't think anything was
Didn't
out
pay
of the norm
attention. Yeah.
at
Okay.
all. So
No.
I didn't, you know, attribute that to anything.
Yeah. And how far is it from the 1029 to the 319?
1029 to the 319. Like 5 minutes.
So it's pretty close.
10 minutes. Yeah, it's not that far away. I mean, you have to take that road, go out back out of the 319, then you head back toward that original gate.
Mm-hmm.
But as soon as you hit that intersection where you turn and go to the gate, you can turn right, and then you head up that hill just a little ways, and then, like I was telling you, that riverbed, and you cross the riverbed, and the 1029's right there.
Okay.
So all those wells are pretty short driving distance from each other.
Yeah. Okay. And to your knowledge, he didn't go back to the 319?
No. But Chad and I were staying on location at the 1029 because we had to call, I think, Steve Ergonati, and he shoots fluid levels for us. because we had that pumping unit going for almost 2 hours, and the stuffing box was heating up. And the polish rod, because there was no fluid, it wouldn't bring any fluid down the hole. So I don't know if something's happened down the hole with the pump, but the stuffing box is right on top of the wellhead, and as soon as that thing heats up, you have to keep spraying it or putting grease on it or anything like that to keep it cool, because as soon as you burn those rubbers, if any fluid does come up, then it would go all over the place.
Sure. Yeah.
So we had to shut the unit down, change out the stuffing box rubbers, and then we gave Steve Ergonati a call, and he has a echometer type deal where he shoots nitrogen into the backside of the casing, so you can see the fluid level. So actually he shot it into the tubing, but you can see the fluid level on his computer, because it can tell you that sound wave that runs down the well, it'll tell you where all the collars are and everything. And I stayed out there while they shot the fluid level.
Okay. All right, so you work on the 1029 for the rest of the day.
Yes, and about 2 o'clock I left. Chad was out there longer because he was talking to Steve.
Okay. And you left, and what'd you do after that?
I left and went straight back toward like Hudson
and
everything, so I could come back into the middle of the field. That way I could be there if anybody needed anything, because being a fuel coordinator, you have to wait until everybody leaves the field and everybody checks out to make sure everybody makes it home safe before you can leave the field. So then as soon as the last person checked out, I can give you the time on that too.
Yeah.
Sprinkley bar. Okay, that's Thursday. Sorry, there's been a lot of activity in the group messages.
Yeah, I'm sure
No,
there
I
is.
get it, yeah.
There's Tuesday. Okay, that's what time I checked out. Headed out, Daniel Barr, and I checked out right there, right after Daniel Barr.
And what time was that?
So, I'm guessing that was about around
Little
3:56 p.m.
A little after 4, maybe?
Yeah.
Maybe right at 4?
And Chris didn't send the message when he was leaving the field, so I put Chris's out as well.
Okay.
Everybody have a good evening.
Can you scroll up to the beginning of the day? I understand that.
Oh yeah,
usually,
that's fine, sir. No.
When you check into a site too, most people will use the group me to say, hey, I'm here, or I'm over here,
Okay,
or whatever
that's
the case is.
Saturday, Sunday, because this is Victor Zambala. He worked the weekend.
Okay.
All right, and then Cody at 6:30 or 6:28 a.m. in the field.
Yeah.
But we're out in the field. I don't know. Luke saying that Alex is on PTO.
Okay.
So Tony or Robbie to please cover that route. And I got a O2 hit at 11:21 a.m. on my gas monitor, because I was getting a pipe wrench out of my toolbox, and if you stand too close to that exhaust where your truck's running, it'll give you a hit. So the IOC called me 3 times.
Sensitive.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
They had to call me 3 times, because now anytime our monitors ding or we get a hit, the IOC calls to verify that we're okay.
Okay.
And then.
Okay.
Okay. Would it be unusual for people to not check in on grouping?
No, not all the time.
Okay.
I mean, if you're on the field, and as long as it's usually after 6:30-ish, Alex Ray, he'll always send a message whenever he's out in the field, and usually Alex gets out there real early, like 5:30. He's almost like my alarm, because he sends a message whenever he gets out to the field. But he was off all the way from Monday till Thursday, I believe.
Okay.
And that's on Luke's calendar down there if we need that.
Okay. What about for Chris? Does he usually check in?
No, usually he comes to the office.
He usually comes to the office?
Because usually we just see all each other out in the office, because he usually carries a big red jug that he fills up with water every morning. It's about yay big, and he always gets water at the ice machine down there in the breaker.
So for Monday, would it have been unusual for him to not stop at the office first?
Well, he told me on Friday that he was going out to the 319 to check out that leak.
Okay.
So we didn't think anything of it.
Yeah, but just overall.
Because he always comes to the office.
Okay.
You know?
Always, or
I would
most of the
say
time?
pretty much always.
Okay.
You know, he's there because that's where him and I meet, because we're both field coordinators, and he'll, you know, talk to me about any issues that we're going to have out in the field that day or what we need to do.
Okay.
So we'll just go over that, and then we'll head to whatever locations we need to. But I always meet him every morning down there in the break room.
Okay.
Do you know why he was so quick to jump on this 319?
No, sir.
To go check it?
I don't.
I mean, because we're all the way back at Friday.
Right.
And he's talking about, hey, I'll go Monday and do it.
Right. No, and Cody's like, okay. You know, because Cody's the operator out there, so.
Why wasn't Cody fixing it?
Well, Cody found the stain, and Cody found that stain later on in the evening. I can see what time on Friday. Cody
Okay.
called me,
Yeah.
and he said he was going to run back to a couple different locations and or back to at least one of the locations out there where he had some oil gator, and that's just some stuff that we can mix in with the ground, any kind of oil that sets in there, and that'll help break that stuff down and everything, and remediate that stuff.
Okay.
Let's see.
Would it be typical for somebody to clear ahead days out, like before the weekend starts, that, hey, I'm going to be doing this, or would that usually be something you do the day morning of?
Chris just said since he lived on 52, right off Highway 52, that it's a straight shot from him to leave his house, go straight to Hudson, then jump on 76, and go out there and verify it. And usually when we verify a line that's got a leak, we usually have more than one person out there.
Okay.
That way if we do send pressure to that line, one person could be here verifying, the other person could be at the separator sending the pressure. That way if there is a leak, we can hurry up and shut it off.
Okay.
That way we don't have excess contamination.
Right.
And
Yeah, that makes sense.
whenever Cody Roberts called me the last time, because I called him and asked him how it was going, and then he called me again whenever I was in the parking lot on Friday of that week, was at 3:13 p.m. Whenever Cody Roberts called me and identified that there was a leak out at Survey Ranch, or at least at the time he suspected that there was a leak.
Okay.
And I told him, don't worry about it, dude. It's Friday, we'll double check it on Monday. You can go out there on Monday morning and verify. And that's whenever Chris said, I'll go out there on Monday morning.
Okay.
So.
Is he usually one to volunteer for something like that?
Yeah, usually he is. I mean, he's really good about doing that stuff.
Let's go to Tuesday.
Okay.
Tuesday morning, tell me what you do.
Tuesday morning, I come into the office, meet with the group, talk about whatever we got to do that day. I know that we had training set up to go, because Luke sent out a message for training that we had to have at the Aquaterra State. So I went to the Aquaterra State.
First?
No, not first. I'm trying to pull it up for you.
Sure.
Okay, we're still on Monday. Let's go to Tuesday.
Do you have any contact with Chris on Monday evening?
Monday evening, the text messages I gave you.
Yeah, I think
I just sent him a
just asking
text.
how he was.
Okay.
Chris was pretty short, or just saying.
Yeah, none of his replies were very long.
No.
But and then Luke sent out in the group me that morning at 6:31 that Chris would not be in that day.
6:31?
Yes, because I guess he called and talked to Chris Tuesday morning.
Who did?
Luke Apple.
Luke, yeah.
Okay, they ordered an air compressor. Everyone meet me at the Aquaterra State, 1836 at 11:15 p.m. for some training. Bring your Mod 1 books if you have them, because we got to complete our Mod 1 before November for any APC blue badges.
What's a Mod 1?
A Mod 1 is a general knowledge of all your parts, moving parts, your separators, your pumping units, your ECDs, your gas compressors, your VRUs, your VRTs. So they want you to be able to go out to a location and walk them through every step on how that functions. So I tested out last year at the beginning of this year on it, and if you didn't get a 2 all the way around, then you would have to turn around and redo it. So the ones that I missed, we're going over some of that, and Luke had another meeting that day, so he had to have a phone call at 1 o'clock. So we set on that location and we went over the air skids. So Aquaterra State's not anywhere.
All right, so Tuesday morning, you came here.
Yes.
Got your burrito.
Yes.
All right, and what do you do? Do you hang around the office, go check stuff?
Well, I hang around the office for a little bit, just talk to the guys, and then after that, I'm trying to remember honestly if it was Tuesday or what day it was. Victor Zambala was having trouble gauging the tank, so I went out with him because he's one of our new guys. He's having trouble color cutting, and that was at the Canon 6768. And
where's
I
that
went
one at?
there, right off County Road 22.
So fairly close.
Yeah, County Road 22 and 31.
Okay.
So, I'm trying to remember whether or not Tuesday, because Tuesday you guys had me come back, I believe, to the office.
I think we spoke Wednesday.
Was it Wednesday?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was Wednesday.
Okay. Well, okay, I got a call from the officer in Frederick, but that was at 2 o'clock or something like that. So, I know I either helped gauge tanks or something that morning, and I told them that we needed to head to training, so we headed out. Or did I go with Daniel Barr? I don't know. If you guys pull my car to sight, you guys can tell exactly where I was. I was either with Daniel Barr or Victor Zambala that day.
Okay, and then you go to the training.
Yeah, we go to the training.
What time was that?
Training. Oh, that way we had to be there by, like, 11:15, is that what I said?
Yeah, I think that was what you said.
Yeah, 11:15 for the Mod 1 training. So I show up at the Mod 1 training.
And where was that at?
The Aquaterra State.
Where's that at?
Aquaterra State is, I don't know what the intersecting county road is, but 47 and 4, and then you go east a quarter and south into.
Okay, how far is that from here?
It's on the other side of Hudson. So.
Oh, it's a ways.
Yeah, it's on the other side. Like if you take 52 out, like you're going through Hudson, straight through Hudson, the first road right outside of Hudson, if you're heading to the east, is County Road 47, first dirt road that goes south. So you take that dirt road, go south all the way to County Road 4, and then from 4 over about a quarter of a mile, and then south into.
No.
Okay. Is that like a training center for you guys?
No, that's just a vertical that they wasted a lot of money on.
Okay.
Well, it's built closest to the HD sites. It's the only site that we have in the field that has pneumatic air, where all the dumps and everything are run off air compressors. So that's the reason why he went there to train us, because he wanted to go over the air compressor portion of the training.
Okay. So how long does the training last?
Almost until 1 o'clock, because Luke had 15 minutes until he had to be on the phone whenever we were wrapping up.
Okay. So what do you do after you leave the training?
Okay, there from that point, you know, I've got everything here going through my head, and I'm like, what the hell's going on? Because it's been since Monday since we've heard anything from Shan'ann.
Okay,
right?
Wait, let me stop you there.
No, you're fine.
So you said you got everything in your head. Tell me what that means.
Well, everything that's going on.
Yeah,
well, Chris took off work, you know, and I'm worried about his wife and his kids, because I've known his wife and his kids, you know. I've been over, hung out with Shan'ann, hung out with Bella, and everything, so I'm like, what's going on here? He's been real short with me on text messages, you know, and there's been no news updates. I've been seeing, you know, stuff coming out that people are looking for him. Everybody's sharing it on Facebook. So I was like, well, if nothing else, it's 1 o'clock. I don't have anything else to do. I'll head back out toward that 319 and, you know, see if I see anything out of the norm and stuff like that. And that's the same time that officer called me.
What prompts you to want to go to the 319?
Because that was the first location we were at that morning.
Okay, just because, or something's tripping your suspicion here, obviously.
Well, I mean, honestly, because I seen him in the different clothes. Okay, I seen him in that, and then, you know, and he just was short with me that day.
Okay.
You know, he wasn't really like engaging in conversations and stuff like that. And then all of a sudden, you know, 11 o'clock to noon, his wife's gone. You know, supposedly, and you know, he thought that she went to a friend's house or whatever. I'm like, this is, you know, even in my head, it's not adding up.
So you've been thinking about this quite a bit as
I love
Monday
my
went
guys
along.
I work with. They're all like my brothers.
Yeah.
You know, honestly. You know, you can ask my whole group. I would do anything in the world for them, you know. I'd be there for them. They can talk to me about anything, you know, and everything. And I was like, man, this is just so weird, because they're such a picture-perfect couple. And then all of a sudden, she's just gone, you know. And that didn't make any sense to me, because by then we'd heard that the cell phone was there, the kids' medication was there, the purse was there at the house, everything. And Shan'ann and the girls were gone. That didn't make any sense to me.
Okay.
Because Shan'ann lives on that phone, because that's what her business is that phone.
Right.
So I drove out to the 319, and as soon as I went through the gate was already open. There was a water truck driver on location.
Okay.
And from MPT, and I signed his JSA. So I parked out by the wellhead, and I didn't want to alert the guy that I was, you know, out there looking for anything odd and suspicious or anything like that. So
you know what time that was?
It was around 2 o'clock or so. I arrived out there, and I talked to the gentleman and everything like that, and told him, I was like, well, I think, you know, I might have forgot a crescent wrench or whatever, because I didn't want to tell him, because I didn't know if I should look around the field or what I should do. So that's what I told him. Okay. You know, and then I signed his JSA, and I turned around and looked at the clock, and it's like, it's so freaking late that by the time I get out of Survey Ranch and back to, you know, the area around like County Road 22 and, you know, 37, kind of like a baseline, if somebody needs me, then I'm going to be way too far away. So I went ahead and just got back in my truck after I signed this JSA and left location.
Okay, why did you sign that?
Because I'm supposed to.
Okay.
What is
I
it?
have to sign that
What
JSA.
is a JSA?
Job site analysis.
Okay.
So these contractors that work for us, if they pull up on a location, they pull a tank, which he pulled the open top water pit. Is what he pulled. That's what he was hooked up to.
So this water truck driver, you know who that is?
No, sir, I don't know his name.
Okay.
But I did sign his JSA.
Okay.
Did
Is
you
that
know?
what this is?
I signed electronically. He just handed it to me and said, sign this. Because it's his JSA. So you're supposed to go through the steps in order to pull procedures. Yes, that's exactly what that is.
Okay. So this thing here has a list of all these questions, and who filled all this out?
He would have.
He did?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And this is something he fills out every time he goes
You're
on
supposed
site?
to. Every time you go, well, not every time you go on site, but if you're pulling a load of water, you know, like if they're just driving up on a site, they don't have to fill one out. But if you're doing any kind of work that's outside the realm of normal activity, but for them, that's their job. So they are required to fill out a JSA for Anadarko.
Okay.
So they have to fill out the JSA, they have to go through their job steps and everything. When we pulled up, he had his vent line and everything in the right direction. You know, he had it vented away from his truck, you know, and the wind wasn't blowing toward his pickup or nothing like that.
Where is he parked when you get here?
He is parked, okay, your water pit's right here.
Yep.
He is parked right here.
Is that a normal place for him to park?
Yeah, that's a normal place, I would say, for him to park, so he can, because I believe you have to go over the top to pull these open top pits. So he would just put his load line inside that pit right there and then pull out the sludge.
Okay.
And he was hauling this load to the OPF.
Where?
The OPF, the oil polishing facility.
Okay. Where's that at?
That's on County Road 49.
Okay. Where do you park when you pull up on Tuesday?
When I pull up on Tuesday, I went right by him, right over here. And I pulled up right about here on the location.
Okay.
And then he walked over from his pickup before I ever even got out of my truck, and he was right here. And I signed the JSA right there.
Okay. Did he ask you what you were doing?
Yeah, and I told him I was looking for a crescent wrench.
Okay. But that was bullshit.
Well, I didn't, just because things have been so out of sorts, I wanted to, you know, to go out here to see if I seen anything, because I've spoken to the officer too.
Okay. When you remember what the officer's name that you spoke to?
I got a voicemail. And I spoke to him at like 2:04. But, you know, things in my head weren't adding up correctly, in my eyes. So, I do have a voicemail from him. Tuesday, Hudson, Colorado. Okay, here's the voicemail then. I didn't delete it.
At what time?
He called me earlier during the training.
For Troy McCoy, this is Officer Walgie with the Frederick Police Department. I was wondering if you could give me a call
Replay
back.
that part again. Can you replay that first part again?
Officer
303.
Walgie.
This message is for Troy McCoy. This is Officer Walgie with the Frederick Police Department. I was wondering if you could give me a call back on my cell. It's 303-500-4073. Again, that's 303-500-4073. I was calling you with regard to working on trying to find a missing person. And I was going to ask you, Christopher Watts, I believe that you work with him, gave your name as someone that he was going to meet yesterday in the early morning, possibly would meet, or that you work out at a site where he was going to be working. So, anyway, he gave your name. I was just wanting to talk to you. A couple questions with regard to Chris, and that would be it. So, if you can give me a call, again, Officer Walgie, W-A-L-J-E, of the Frederick Police Department. If you feel more comfortable,
Yeah, really.
so that you call the police department. I'm currently there, currently here, I should say, and I can talk to you at the office if you feel more comfortable calling that number. But again, my cell is 303-500-4073. 403-500-4073 in case I have to leave. Thank you. Good night.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, no problem.
Did you know that the water guy was going to be out there?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
No, the water guy was out there. Well, Cody Roberts told me that he was going to have the load bottomed out at Survey. And then he also told me that the load line was leaking on the tank.
Okay.
Because that load line is leaking on the tank that was almost full.
That was on Tuesday, or was that another day?
I think it was on Tuesday. He called me and told me that they were going to have that pit bottomed out. And I think the water truck told me that he got like 15 or 20 barrels of oil out of there, or not oil, but water, and then he pulled the rest of the oil and the BS&W that was on top of the tank.
Okay. So is it normal for you to sign this? If you show up on site, when they're on site, they
Yes,
want you
you
to
have
sign
to
that?
sign that.
You have to?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. So you pull up around here, approximately here.
Yeah.
He comes over before you're even out of your car.
Yeah, before I even get out of my pickup.
Okay. Do you ever get out of your pickup?
Yes.
Okay. Do you walk around, take a
No,
look?
I mean, whenever I get out of the pickup to talk to him.
Okay.
Because he's walking up and he's right here by my truck, so I get out, and everything and talk with him. And then he told me, that he's here to pull a load and everything like that. And I need to sign his JSA, and the screen is scratched to hell on that JSA.
Sure is.
You couldn't read nothing if you wanted to. So I input my name, and then I asked him, I said, where do I sign, sir? So I handed it back to him. He handed it back to me after he got me to the screen where I needed to sign, and then I signed my name.
Okay. All right, then, so does he leave? Or, I'm sorry, go back to his truck?
Yes, sir. He went back to his truck, and then
what do you do?
I get back in my truck, because I looked at the clock, and it's already freaking like 2:04 around that time period. So I'm going to go ahead and get back in my truck, and I just leave location.
Okay, so you weren't there for, what, 5-10 minutes at most?
I wasn't there, no, sir. I wasn't there very long at all.
Okay.
And that gentleman told me that if he found my crescent wrench, that he would lay it up on, the battery or the tank or the separator for me.
Okay.
So.
All right. Did you have a chance to look out in this direction at all?
No, sir, I didn't.
He was just on you that quick.
Yeah, he was just right there next to me. So
okay.
I was like, okay, and that's good too, because they're supposed to be able to approach people.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as they see somebody pull up on location, they will approach you.
Okay.
They're supposed to. That's what they're supposed to do. So I wasn't shocked to see him or nothing like that, but he was just right there at the pickup. So I signed the JSA, and because in my heart of hearts, I didn't want to believe that Chris had done anything. I've been his friend for 2.5 years. But with Shan'ann not getting back to anybody, even like calling her parents and just being like, hey, I'm fine. Yeah, I'm safe and sound. Bella and the kids are with me. We're good. I was like, that was the location that he was at that morning. So that's why I went out there. Because, everybody's looking for clues and tips, anything that can help. And I honestly just want to help.
And something's needling you about this.
Yeah, it is. Well, I mean, I didn't say it in our first interview, but the clothes.
Mm-hmm.
The clothes, it was just different to me. And then whenever I told you about how he walked by the back of his truck, it was odd. And then now all of a sudden I find out, the next day that his girls are gone and there's a missing persons report and everything for him, and nobody's heard nothing from him. I'm a father. If my wife was gone and everything like that, I'd be freaking out.
Oh, yeah.
And, he's just like, hey guys, I gotta go. It wasn't like necessarily like a panic whenever he took off.
There's no urgency to it.
But he's like, hey, I just gotta go. And that's all he said, because he rolled down his window and he pulled up to Chad McNeil's pickup that day. And he's like, hey, guys, I gotta go. Something's not right at home. And then he drove off.
How did he drive?
And he just pulled away normal. It wasn't like he was in a fire rush,
Mm-hmm.
If I had my friends calling me and telling me, or my wife's friends, that my wife was missing and my 4 kids weren't at home, I'd be freaking out, honestly.
Pedal to the metal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Why did you park there?
Because that's where I seen him parked.
Okay. And when the oil and water guy approached you, why didn't you just keep looking around like you originally said?
After he approached me and everything, because I was looking at the clock, because I need to be off somewhere close to the time frame, like 2:30ish and stuff like that,
okay.
So I can actually get home, because I live in Greeley,
mm-hmm.
and from Greeley to Surrey is a heck of a long drive, and my
yeah,
wife babysits and everything else, so I want to get home whenever it's close to time, because I'm not trying to milk the clock, get any extra overtime or anything like that.
Right.
So after he approached me, we talked for, just a couple minutes and everything like that. He told me that if he found my crescent wrench, that he'd put in a tank battery for me, and that was it. I got right back in my pickup. I drove around slowly to the location, drove around the edge of the location right here. I just drove around right here,
Okay.
and then just went ahead and took off.
Okay. Why didn't you tell him the truth?
Because I didn't want to tell him that I was searching for any kind of suspicious things on location.
What would have been wrong with that, though, if you had just said that?
Well, I know, but I mean, at the time, whenever I was approached, that's what I said, honestly.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not here to lie to you guys, I'm upfront and honest about it. Obviously, you guys knew I was there, and I've got no problem telling you exactly why I was on location. So.
Did you talk to your wife about this on Monday when you got home?
Well, yeah, because Shan'ann and Juanita, did the Thrive thing. Because Juanita's a promoter as well, but she's never even hit her 4K on that. And it just doesn't feel right. For those girls just to disappear and Shan'ann to disappear, and she's such a public person and everything like that. So the wife was worried about them. She wanted to make sure that they were going to be okay as well.
What was your conversation about? Tell me, not necessarily about. Tell me what was your conversation like? Were you guys, convinced something had happened, or just a little bit concerned?
Well, we were concerned because I mean it wouldn't be out of the realm of possibilities if they were having issues, and she wanted to leave. If that was the case, for her to take the girls, because I figured she would, and go ahead and go off to a friend's house, because he told me that he thought Shan'ann had went to a friend's house that morning. So
Chris told you that?
Yeah, it wasn't nothing out of the norm, like she goes over to friend's house and stuff all the time. But that's what I told my wife. I was like, well, I don't know if she took off, went to a friend's house, whatever the case. And then later on in the day, we found out that the cell phone was still there, and everything, the purse, all that kind of stuff. And then it just didn't start adding up. You never want to think that one of your coworkers would be capable of doing something like that to a person, anything. And then.
So, at what point do you start to think that Chris has done something?
Well, the only part I started to think would be Wednesday, because I drove out to location. I wasn't out there very long on Tuesday. Didn't see anything out of the norm while I was there, but I really didn't look around. I was just got back in my pickup and drove off. And then Wednesday, I didn't text him at all. Nothing. I didn't, try to check on him, anything. And then, then Wednesday would be the day that you guys called me, roughly around 10 o'clock.
Just something like that, I think it was.
And then I come back to the office and have a talk with you, Joe.
Were you out at this location ever again after Tuesday?
No, sir, I wasn't. Never again.
Okay.
Do you know who else has been out at that location since
Cody Roberts was out at that location on Tuesday.
Tuesday?
He had to do something out there. I think Cody Roberts was out there, though.
Do you remember about what time?
No, sir, I don't. That's just from Cody talking to me and telling me that he was out on location.
Okay. What about Melissa or Chad or anybody like that? Did they ever go back to 319?
Well, I think Melissa would have been back out there because Melissa's been chatting with Cody.
Okay.
Because Cody starts automation cross-training next week.
Okay.
So that's the whole reason why Melissa was out there anyway.
Right.
Because she's not the normal operator. She's just a trainee that just got signed off on her SOPs, standard operating procedures. And then now we're feeling comfortable enough to let her run a route and see how she does.
Okay.
So that just happened to be a particular route when she drew.
Okay. Would there be any reason for anybody to drive out here in the weeds?
No, sir. There would be no reason at all for anybody to do that.
Is that permitted? You guys get busted for that?
No, yeah. You whenever you're out of Slurpee Ranch, if you read that sign, it's posted by that gate.
Oh yeah, it's got the rules on it.
The ranch road.
That's right.
You don't want to be caught outside of those ranch on the leash roads that are out there, because you will get your butt ripped.
Yeah.
I mean, most of our landowners that we have are like that.
Yeah, sure.
Even Mr. Batting is that way.
Anything else that we haven't talked about regarding any of this stuff that you can think of that we need to cover? Even if you think it's not related or it's frivolous or anything else you can think of, suspicions, just rumors, anything else you can think of.
Right. Well, I'm trying to go through my head on everything that I could have said to him that day. I mean, with all this stuff that's gone on, sometimes it's hard to remember. But another thing, that morning, he told me they were having issues and everything like that. But
This is Monday morning?
Yes. Yeah, he said, yeah, we're having some issues and everything. And, he's like, well, her wedding ring was laying on the counter. That's what he told me. That the wedding ring was on the counter. And I was like, why would she leave her wedding ring on the counter? He's like, well, I guess that she's just through with me. I don't know. But he sounded hopeful that they could work things out. So that didn't, necessarily bother me at all. He's told me that the wedding ring was laying on the counter.
Counter where, do you say?
No, I don't know if it was a kitchen counter, sir, or their dining room table, because they're right there next to each other.
Okay. Did he say anything about, hey, this is going to be hard on the kids, anything like that?
No, he never spoke of his girls.
Never did?
No.
Like
he said that they didn't go to school or whatever at CC and Bella, because I don't know if they had like a daycare or something that they go to every day, but he said, yeah, she didn't take them to daycare and she didn't go to a doctor's appointment. That was it. That's all he ever spoke with the girls. But he just told me that him and Shan'ann had issues and everything, and that's why I figured why, because she didn't get in until late Monday morning or Sunday night, whenever she got in.
Mm-hmm.
And I figured that they just couldn't sleep, honestly, is the reason why he looked the way he looked. I never put things out of sorts, or even would have thought about things being out of sorts until nobody heard from her.
Right.
And she's not that type of person at all.
Does he generally talk about his girls on a day-to-day basis?
Here and there, if they get to go do something.
Okay.
He loved playing with them and everything. Last pictures I seen anyway of the girls, other than whenever I seen them on Friday with him. They were happy, laughing, and everything when we met in Fort Lupton. And like the trip that they took out to the beach in North Carolina. He always posts stuff like that. And for the most part, if anybody asked him about his kids, he would just light up. They were like the center of his world. It's what it seemed like. But now that we know what we know now, obviously that must have not been the case. Because any father that loves their children could never do something like that. So I'm just blown away with this, and I know me going out to location on Tuesday does not look good upon my part. And I told the guy I was looking for my wrench, but I had that sick feeling in my stomach. Okay, we haven't heard anything from her. If I can find anything out on that site where I could tell authorities, something about it, that we could find out what happened. I was praying to God that wouldn't be true, because that's a guy I worked with for 2.5 years.
Okay. He's your buddy.
Yeah, I would consider him a friend. We didn't hang out outside of work hardly at all. I went down to his house twice for Thrive parties, like I told you guys before, and I met him at Fort Lupton because he asked me to try to put some programs in the Fire Stick for him. I said, okay. That was the only reason why we met, and it was a brand new Fire Stick straight out of the box. And I handed it back to him on location that Monday morning. So.
No, and just understand that we had come across this information about you being on site on Tuesday.
Right.
And it's, it just one of these loose ends that we need to tie up.
No, I understand that. That's why I said I had no problem to come down and talk to you.
Sure, no problem. And I appreciate that. And I think you pretty well told me that you recognized that something was wrong, and you put a few things together that's tripping your suspicion.
That's why one of the first things I brought up to you guys is, okay, we're at the 319. That was the site that I met him on. I got a map out in my truck. Anything I can do to help. I went and got you guys a map so you guys could take pictures of it or whatever. You called me and asked if we'd go out to Serby Ranch together. I said, yes, sir.
Yep.
I didn't hesitate, and I drove straight from County Road 37 and 52, where I received your phone call, straight to Hudson and waited there for you until you guys arrived on location.
Yeah.
Because, I wanted to help.
Yeah. No, and
I didn't know it was going to turn out this way.
No, and I appreciate it.
We appreciate that.
And obviously you thought something was up, because that wasn't adding up.
Yeah, I pay attention to a lot of things. I've got like ADD. I notice stuff that's just different. That a lot of people just kind of gloss over. But I've got so much that runs through my mind all the time. I don't remember everything. But then Chad and I started talking about the day that we were on that location, and that's whenever I remembered all that stuff. So I was like, okay, I'm going to have a meeting with those gentlemen today and tell them everything that I know, just to see if I can help out in any way, shape, or form. Because, I can't believe what happened. That's absolutely terrible. And then to read on number 7 or something like that. The tanks were involved with that too. You know, possibly. I don't know if that's the truth or not, and I don't know if you guys can't say that's part of the investigation, but I was standing right there by those tanks, you know, and if I was that close to that, that blows my mind. It honestly does. I don't even know how to process this. You know, I was starting to feel better a little bit, talking to the counselor a little bit. I didn't talk to him one-on-one. We talked to him in the group, you know. And my buddy Tony Brown, he was bawling. You know, Chad McNeil was visibly upset. I've been crying most of the night once I found out the news. And I don't know. I mean, anything I can do to help you guys, I'm more than willing to.
Yeah, we appreciate that.
But I just don't know. This is absolutely horrible. I've never been a part of this in my life. I've never been in trouble in my life, you know. I don't have any experience with talking to officers or nothing.
Yeah, well, and understand, we're not accusing you of it.
Right, yeah.
You know,
I mean, but I know it looks
we just,
terrible.
it's just
because
one
I'm
of those
the
loose ends
closest
we
one
need
in
to
the group
tie up.
to him,
Yeah.
You know?
It's just one of those loose ends we need to tie up. And I
understand.
come back and I can say, yeah, he told us about, you know, X, Y, and Z, and this is why he was there.
Yeah,
You
I
know?
mean, because I wanted to be honest with you guys.
Yeah, no, we appreciate that.
Yeah.
So, did Anadarko bring in the counselor for you guys?
They did. It was a gentleman. It was an older gentleman. I don't remember his name. I've got the paperwork that he gave us for. We have like a counseling hotline that we can call if we need any help. And I believe he was here yesterday, today's Friday, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, he's here today as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because we had our meeting yesterday morning, and he sat and talked to us for about an hour. You know, and then our boss came in and talked to us, and he said, "I'm sorry that I wasn't able to, you know, be able to say anything to you guys or anything about what had happened." Because it was Wednesday night, right, that it came across the news that he had confessed. Is that correct?
Yeah, that
yeah,
seems
late,
right.
late
Okay.
Wednesday night.
Yeah, late Wednesday night, because
My
I was
days
almost
just-
asleep, and then Tony Brown calls me, and he's bawling his eyes out.
Yeah.
And I said, "This can't be true." And then we pulled it up, and we seen that it was true. And my wife cried unconsolably for an hour and a half. I was trying to calm her down. I mean, it's just been tough on everybody.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I can't imagine the way that those families feel, because they've been absolutely ripped apart.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and then to find out that she was pregnant with a little boy.
Yeah.
They invited me to their gender reveal party, you know, and then it got deleted. I didn't know who deleted it or nothing, but it just, you know, no gender reveal party. Because I believe that was supposed to take place on the 16th.
Speaking of that,
That
do you
was
know
yesterday.
who Nicole
Other than seeing her on the news, sir, for the interview that she did.
Yeah.
That's the only
That's the only person, that's the only way you know who that is?
No.
Okay.
Well, the other person, that Nicholas, that you guys have got going,
Nicholas.
well, not you guys, but interviews that you guys have seen online, he's a bald gentleman. And in this interview on the news, he's sitting on a park bench with his wife right next to him.
Mm-hmm.
That was the gentleman I was telling you about that Chris would run with all the time.
Okay.
That he was running together trying to
Yeah.
get 5K
Yeah.
and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
we talked to him.
Okay. But no, I didn't know any of the other Thrive group outside of any of that.
Okay.
Because the Thrive party that we went to, we built a vision board, which I still have in my house, and my wife still has hers. Because you're supposed to put your goals and cut out pictures and all that. So we done that with them. We ate supper with them. But like I said, that was, you know, like February-ish or something, you know.
Yeah.
Because I just met Shan'ann for the first time at our Anadarko Christmas party.
This most recent one.
Yeah, the last year's Christmas party. You know, and I don't know what date that was or anything, sir, but, you know, because I text Chris and everything because we've been working together, you know, long enough, and he wanted to sit by my wife and I. So we hollered at them. I got to meet Shan'ann, you know, and found out how bubbly her personality was and just how awesome she was. You know, and then I guess she had lupus, and by taking Thrive, it was able to help her, you know.
Yeah.
And so my wife is suffering from acid reflux and everything, and she said, well, that might help you. So I got my wife on Thrive, and she's been doing better ever since, you know. And I thank Shan'ann for that because Juanita had to take medications all the time that just weren't helping her, you know. So
It's a terrible circumstance, no matter how you look at it.
it is bad. I mean, the only other situation that I've ever been close to that would even resemble this at all, which it doesn't, would be my dad's passing. And that's the closest I've been to anything like that. I've been pretty fortunate in my life not to have anybody I know ever have any serious trouble, you know, or nothing like that, or anybody else that I know personally pass. You know, all my friends are still alive, you know, by the grace of God. Thank God for that.
Mm-hmm.
But to have something like this happen, for the guy that I spoke with every freaking day for 2.5 years, you know, and then just to go like that. And like I said on Friday, when I met him, he seemed fine, man. He was laughing, smiling. You know, he went to the console and, it might still be in the console of that vehicle, they had gum, like little, bubble gum deal. It was white and, it was like tangerine. And he gave it to each one of his girls and he asked me would I like a piece of gum. And I took a piece of gum from him. You know, it's not off at all on Friday at all. Just normal Chris. You know, and I can't fathom what would have happened between that time frame for any of this to take place. I just can't. But, I mean, anything y'all need from me,
Yeah, we appreciate that.
I'm more than willing to help. Because I don't know what I can do at this point.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, obviously seek counseling because this has affected you. I mean, it's affected pretty much everybody involved, us included. Just especially from being out at the site and the folks who, gone through the recovery process. It's
Well, I
terrible
asked the gentleman,
circumstance.
once that it was confirmed that something was out on the site, whenever I drove home yesterday, because they wouldn't let me drive my truck, because I was a freaking wreck. And, the gentleman that drove me home, I asked him, I said, is there any way that I can never have to go out to that area again? I can't stand being on that location, because I knew her. I knew those two little girls. They played with my girls. My girls loved them. I can't even watch the news because if my daughters see Cece and Bella on there, I don't want to have to tell them that they're in heaven now. You know? I don't know what else to do.
Yeah.
But I'm sorry I went out to location on Tuesday. But it just
No.
didn't sit right with me. It honestly
You don't have
didn't.
to apologize for
Don't
that.
worry.
I think that's a very astute observation that you picked up on something's wrong. And just that you put together the totality of the circumstances. And I think you went out there just to even ease your mind a little bit to say, this can't possibly be.
So when I talked to you guys on Wednesday, before anything came out, later on that evening, I told you I wanted to help you do whatever I could, whether it was to find the girls, if Shan'ann just went away or whatever she did with a friend, or clear his name. Because I honestly thought at that time he was innocent. But I wanted to know in my heart of hearts if I seen anything odd out there that I could call an officer and have them investigate it.
Yeah.
And that's why I was out there.
No, and I think that's a very reasonable explanation.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
This is kind of for later down the road when, like maybe a defense counsel finds something like this.
Right.
And then wants to make some story up. We have to be able to say, no, that's stupid. This is what actually happened.
That's fine. I mean, whatever you guys need from me.
Okay.
Honestly.
Does the name Mark sound familiar? Did Chris ever talk about a Mark in California?
No, he's never mentioned a Mark to me.
Okay. Any name that started with an M? Mark name may not be the right name.
No.
Or anybody in California, actually.
He's real reserved in the fact that, he'll let you on a little bit of stuff.
Okay.
Like he told me his wife and him were having a little bit of issues.
Right.
But he didn't say nothing about they were, going to get a divorce or anything like that. It was just issues. But no, when I talked to Chris, it was about fantasy football. He's a big Steelers fan. And I used to be a Colts fan until Manning left because I followed Peyton Manning around. So I don't really watch football much anymore. And I had the 5.0 Mustang I told you about. Well, he used to have the Mustang whenever he lived in North Carolina. And when he moved out here with Shan'ann, they sold it. But he had it all souped up and everything. And since he was a Ford mechanic, I talked to him about issues or questions that I had with my Mustang. And then my wife has she had a Ford Flex, one of the ugliest vehicles on the road.
Yeah.
And we kept having issues with that because I bought it outright.
Yeah.
And that was my fault. I bought it from like one of those buy here, pay here places. But I paid cash for it, and it was terrible.
Yeah.
Had a hole in the gas tank. I drive it for 2 weeks, and the transmission goes out.
Nice.
So that was like $5,000.
Yeah, right.
So, no, I'd ask him questions about all that kind of stuff all the time. So, all of our conversations were mostly upbeat, talking about sports, stuff like that. And since I, could sense just from, him telling me that they were having issues, I never asked. That's not my business. That's not my place. What goes on behind their closed doors, that's their business, because my wife and I almost went through a divorce 2 years ago, and I was the same way, so I understood.
Yeah. Have you talked to Luke the last couple days?
Sir. Yes.
How's he doing?
Pretty rough.
Yeah, he's pretty twisted up.
Yeah, I spoke to him today, and just because I wanted to touch base with my supervisors and tell them that I was coming in today. And he said, okay, buddy, if you need anything, he asked me, did he need to drive up, because he was at the office today. He brought his personal Suburban down because the gentlemen that weren't able to drive home, Victor Zavala and Daniel Barr, and I believe Melissa, No, Melissa didn't catch a ride with a gentleman yesterday, but Victor's and Lala and Daniel Barr did. So Luke lives out in Wiggins, so he picked those guys up and brought them in his Suburban. And he asked me, did I need to ride down here, to have an interview with you guys? And I said, no, it's okay. I said, have my wife and kids drive me down. That way I can go ahead and pick up my work truck, and drive it back home. So,
Okay.
but yeah, he's pretty shaken.
Yeah.
And Chad McNeil, he's pretty shaken as well. And then Tony Brown, he was just all sorts of tore up. I've never seen that man cry in my life, and he was just sobbing the whole entire time we were at the office, and we were talking, about how to, try to let things go and everything, and move on to the future. This guy drew out like a little diagram on the board. I mean, he was just almost inconsolable, And it's just tough because I'm looked to as leadership in the group. We're right below Luke, for answers and everything. So all those guys talk to me all the time, and that's why I feel like they're all brothers. I do anything for them, and even Melissa's a sister, even though she's new to the group, she's excellent. She used to be an EMT and everything, so it's pretty cool having her part of the group.
Yeah.
But
All right. Well, thanks for coming down and talking to us again.
you're welcome, sir.
If you think of anything, I gave you my card last time, didn't I?
Yes, sir, you did. I believe I still have both your
Okay.
cards.
Yeah,
Let me verify that though.
Yep. If you think of anything, give me a call or send me an email.
Okay.
Appreciate that.
Philip Jones.
Yep.
And Greg.
Is that there?
Okay, I don't want to mess that up.
That's
I'm terrible at pronouncing.
That's all right.
Yeah.
I need
So
to
you
go on
haven't
phonics
called-
sometimes.
I haven't called a lot worse, so.
Yeah. But make sure you talk this whole situation through with people just for your own mental health, because this is a terrible situation,
Yeah.
no matter how you slice it. So everybody's been affected by it that was close to him, family, coworkers,
Yeah.
neighbors, pretty much everybody, the whole community.
I wish that I knew, but like I seen on Facebook, they're raising a GoFundMe page.
Okay.
To be able to, I think, get Shan'ann and the girls back out to North Carolina, so they can be, laid to rest properly.
Oh yeah.
And I called Luke and asked him if Anadarko would be willing to donate. And he went to some of the higher ups, and all I got to do is take a picture of that link and be able to send it to them. And I think they're going to try to donate to be able to help out the
Oh, that's
family
good.
to get them back home.
That's good.
Because all of us were blindsided by this.
Oh yeah.
It was just terrible.
Yeah.
So, well, even from our point of view, Anadarko has been very nice to us.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
they've really gone above and beyond. And I think you're blessed to work for the company that you work for because they really have stepped up.
Yeah, and I've been with them for 11 years, and it just seems like we had a bad stretch of luck last year at Firestone.
Yeah, that shit
That
happens.
was a horrible, horrible incident.
Yeah.
And then now, it's already on the news that he worked for us.
Yeah.
So I don't know what that's going to do. Eventually.
Yeah. So, all right. Thanks. Appreciate it.
Thank you guys. I really do appreciate it, man.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you, Luke.
Thank you.
Or, sorry, I called you. I was thinking about Luke.
I wish I was Luke, man. That's a six-figure job right there.
It really is. That guy handles a lot of stuff.
Oh, I can't believe what he does. And then I found out he's leaving our group. He's going to be a different area's foreman. And it sucks.